Nerds that know.
That's the best.
Yeah, well, we're down a couple members. It's cold as balls out, and Mr. Freeze is one step closer to world domination. Yes, that's right. It's cold outside.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. It has been chilly the last couple days, to say the least.
Holy crap! I haven't seen my testicles in a week.
But they will not let my kid go back to school, so I'm kind of, dealing with that.
Oh, so the school said no, your kids aren't coming in?
Yeah, the last couple days.
I mean, to be fair, I've kind of worked from home and thought out frozen pipes at my house, and it's just been one of those weird, adventure-filled weeks. Just another day in the life here in the Mile High City. But enough of our gripes and frozen tootsies. Let's go on to some hotter topics, some more sensual stuff, if you will. And what's more sensual than Jack Reacher? Holy fuck! That man is just a beast. And I am sad that we only got 6 episodes of Reacher. I wanted more.
Yeah, I wish they would have, not saying drag that particular storyline out more, because I don't know if that would have helped, but just a longer story.
I don't know. I know they wanted to keep this tight. There was no fluff, no muss, no fuss. Just drove that thing right through.
Oh yeah, no fluff at all. Like, this was purely an old school action story from top to bottom.
It was great.
Yeah.
I had no complaints with this. This is what Tom Cruise wanted to portray years ago, but it's hard to stretch 5'2" into 6'4" muscle-bound brutality. That fight scene in the in the jail or in the prison.
Oh man.
Just freaking
when he annihilated those dudes in the bathroom. Yeah.
Yes. It was just
that
badass.
Was ridiculous. Yeah. And I've kind of joined Smurf here a little bit. I kind of hate Tom Cruise a little bit more after watching this, because I watched the first movie he was in. I didn't watch the second one because the first one was trash. But I watched the first one and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I watched this and I'm like, oh, so he's supposed to be a giant. He's supposed to be a mountain that is intimidating to everyone that sees him. And
yes.
He's supposed to be lethal and believable all at the same time. Like, that was the biggest difference. Like, I believed that Adam Richman, is that what his name is?
Yes.
Something like that. I totally believed that was possible. That this giant corn-fed special forces dude would just beat the shit out of all these dumb little asshole rednecks in the middle of Georgia.
Yeah. Even the non-dumbass ones, even the ones that look like they could kind of take him.
Oh, you mean the cartel guys?
Yeah. Not a chance.
Him curb stomping the dude in the truck, that was probably my favorite kill specifically, just because he fucked that dude up so hard.
He did. And I mean, there were just so many great kill scenes or squash scenes. I'm still happy about when he gets off the bunk in the prison and he just wrecks that guy in 3 seconds.
It smashes his brain into the bed. Yeah.
Oh, good. Just but see, I don't think Tom Cruise could carry that kind of intensity.
No.
I mean, he's charming, okay. He's clever. He does his own stunts. We're not bad mouthing him per se, but he's just not Reacher. He's not Reacher. He's not Reacher quality. That's all that's to it.
Yeah, and I believe him as Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. The dangerous spy. I get that. Yes. But as the dude that's just a badass and is just going to beat the shit out of people. And that's not saying small guys can't do it. I believed it when Jet Li did it too. And he's what?
Or Jackie Chan.
Yeah, or he's like, what, 5'4", something like that, 5'5". Yeah, he's not a big dude, but I believe that. I believed him kicking the shit out of people. do not believe in Tom Cruise kicking the shit out of people. Poisoning, shooting, yeah, sure, we'll go for it. Anybody can do that, you know? But to just be the big mountain of a man that just beats the shit out of people and is willing to kill as long as it,
It
makes
makes
sense. Yeah.
I like it. It's a very Punisher style code of do you deserve to die, motherfucker? And I really like that approach. And it's just I've now adopted in my life what would Reacher do?
Yeah,
And that is
exactly.
kind of how I'm approaching things from henceforward. What would Reacher do?
Just gonna kill a bunch
What's
of
out, nerds?
pedophiles inside a garage in Afghanistan.
I'm just sad that Bobby can't be here to jump in on the Reacher talk because I'm sure she would have a female perspective that is, a little less abrasive than yours or I.
Yeah.
Saying maybe.
Well, and even in the storyline, like I like what they did with Roscoe. Yes, she ended up, falling for the big muscular hero, but they did it in a way that it made sense.
Yeah, absolutely made sense.
Because she still was completely justified in being a badass who didn't need his assistance.
See, and this is what you and I were talking about, and the point I was trying to make as far as making strong female characters.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have to sacrifice any other character to make them look bad or dumb or stupid like the MCU has done over the last couple of series. They made her strong because she's a badass, not because all the people surrounding her are a bunch of noobs. They had the same mentality, they kept the same line, there's the same standard, and I think it's brilliant writing, and it's just a testament of what someone that can write and does a good story. And I think this is what I want. If empowerment, make women strong, fuck yeah, make them as strong as guys, hell yeah. Just stop making men the equivalent of a mop handle to make the woman strong is not helping anybody.
No, she was smart, she was dangerous, and she beat the shit out of some people in a way that were like, oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
She beat him up, she shot him up, and then, you know what? She took a shower.
Yeah. Which makes sense, because so did he. Because that's what the hero does. They beat the shit out of him and go take a shower.
What I tell you about washing up after those cross burnings, brother? No, it totally made sense. It was really good. And I'm excited for season 2, and I'm going to put money on season 3. I have no doubts in my mind.
And because this is all based on the Lee Child books. And there's got to be like 20 of those, right? With the Reacher series?
There's like 25, actually. There's like 25, close to 25 books in that series.
So, yeah, they got plenty to play with, and they can extend this out for a while, honestly.
I just hope they don't soften them up. And I was torn at the end, like, oh, he didn't get the girl. But do you want him to get the girl? I mean, I like... Huh?
Go ahead.
And I like the lonely man Hulk walk down the street at the end. I was waiting for the do 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 do. I was totally waiting for the walk in the music, but they didn't give it to us, and it worked. And I was like, you know what? That's a far better ending than getting the girl.
Well, and they could always legitimately, because the way they ended it, they could always have him go back at some point. Or call her in for help, or anything, any number of things. They didn't kill off anybody that didn't need to be killed off.
It's true.
They left the heroes alive so that in the future, if need be, they can bring them back in.
Yeah, I'm hoping Roscoe comes back.
Oh, same here. Like them as a duo, just traveling the country, fucking people up. Let's go for it. Let's.
I like that ass-kicking duo. Let's do it.
But yes, that is one of my favorite watches, especially action specific. There's just been so much not good action stuff recently. To have something as pure as that, where that was beautiful.
Yeah. It worked out well. It was really well done. Watch the series.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of another series that I I have to apologize. I badmouthed. I bashed the shit out of it. I made fun of its star, pretty much well to his face.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to retract all of those negative statements, all of them, because Peacemaker was absolutely ridiculous and brilliant all at the same time.
And not just like action, but like all of it. Like
All of all of
you
it.
you felt for this guy at the end of the story. You're like, God damn, he did come out on top after starting at the bottom on this.
Literally on the bottom. But
Yeah.
the character development of not only just him, but like everybody.
Oh yeah,
The
everyone.
the story was enticing, it was compelling, it really did make you think at the end, like, that was a pretty good offer. And I know a lot of people would almost like take him up on that offer at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, so it made you think. It was very Doctor Who-ish in the way of really big villain, makes you think, kind of like, okay, but you're still enslaving the human race. Yeah, that's kind of bad. I can't let
Yeah.
you do that. But you do have a right to exist, so I get it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so much fun. The soundtrack was hot. Oh my God. The soundtrack was just, I hope Gunn just keeps, I don't know where Gunn pulls his music from. But
I'm guessing from
that
his
man,
childhood. I mean, it was just an ode to 80s metal for the most part.
yeah, it was perfect. The man's
Yeah.
library must be huge. That's all I have to say. Good Lord.
Yeah.
But all of it was a hit. So, final episode, we get the eagle hug at the end, I guess is the best way to say. But holy hell, Goth is Goth, Goth, Goth or Goth,
It was
Goth,
Goff, yeah.
Goth. Gives the man's Peacemaker doesn't take it, offs everybody, even the big cow bug.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I'm still not entirely. It's just a giant alien caterpillar, right? Like that's what that is.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah.
It was disgusting. And it was, you know what? I love that they just basically didn't they didn't spare the characters any grief. This is the
Oh
best way I
no,
think I could put it.
not at all. Like, and they even made the butterflies sympathetic by the end of it too. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it
was,
sucks for you guys, but you can't do what you're doing.
yeah, we're like, yeah, we get it. But bad bug. Bad
Uh-huh.
bug. And they just punish everybody.
Oh,
Even even Diebeard, who I honestly thought was gonna get out of this unscathed, basically fucks himself up tripping over a basic fence. Like, are you kidding me?
completely snapped his fucking leg.
Compound fracture? Are you kidding me? Oh,
And then even him, they gave him part of the story too.
I
Him
did.
having to tell his story to try and get out of the situation he was in, you know.
Totally humanized him. I mean, just you sympathized with him. You felt. I mean, nerds around the world probably united on this and like
Oh.
lit candles. They're probably birthday candles on cupcakes, but they're still candles nonetheless. And
Mhm.
they just, were like, he's one of us. We can identify with that so much.
And then even then he returns to work at the end and you get that last little shot of the picture on the desk with him and Peacemaker and Vigilante and all that, and you're like, oh, okay, so he did make a connection here. He
He
made
did.
friends. Like these are people that he cares about now.
Absolutely. And we're gonna see a second season, which I'm not surprised. Let James, and if they, okay, here's how they can fuck this up.
Mhm.
Is if they have anyone other than James Gunn do it, because you
Based on
can't.
what information has been released to this point, because he didn't direct every episode during the first season,
No,
but
he didn't direct, but he wrote.
he
I
wrote
think all of them. I think
all he wrote all of it, but he did not direct all of it. He
no.
is both writing and directing the entire second season, apparently.
Oh wow. Ooh.
So we're gonna get a full season of just James Gunn's thing here.
Twisted twisted idea of superheroes.
He has the best idea of superheroes at this point. Okay,
It's it's
Suicide Squad was not the best movie, but it was better than the first attempt at it.
it was better. Harley was there, I think, just for contractual reasons. She was a complete distraction. Didn't need her. Ratcatcher was more significant
Dot Man was
uh,
significant. How do
than
you make
Harley,
Polka Dot Man interesting? And they did it.
and he did it.
And they told, and he has a weird mentality about him, but he tells the dark, absurd superhero story very well.
He does, and it's an R-rated Guardians. For
Oh
lack
yeah.
of a better description, R-rated Guardians.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I don't want to associate Peacemaker to Star-Lord, but
To a certain extent, it's not far off.
No, it's
Little
not.
little bit more racist background and a little bit, trigger happy compared to Star-Lord, but not far off. I mean, Star-Lord's not meant to be a good guy.
No,
At the beginning of that story, he's a thief.
Yes, for lack of a better description. So
yeah.
the only complaint, and it's nitpicky at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The only complaint is Vigilante, and I wish. Okay, first of all, he's the poor man's Deadpool. I get it. We needed that. I would have been happy if they just left the mask on.
I had the same thought. Like, I understand giving presents to the character. I get it. But if they would have left him with the mask on and the whole time, and the only person who actually knows who he is Peacemaker, and that's just because he knows who he is from before, that would have been perfect, honestly. Leave the mask on. Don't tell anybody who he is. We don't know who that guy is. He's just a psychopath that kills people because he believes it's the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I know, as the story progresses, there are a couple of things that make sense why we have to know, without the mask. But it would even if he was in prison with the mask, that would have just been hilarious. I mean, it's just like a missed opportunity to just really show how fucked up Vigilante is. And he's not like the 80s Vigilante that, we know in the comics. It's just this far offshoot. It's just ridiculous.
Let me turn everything off on my phone.
Oh my God, ESPN.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
So that's the only critique I really have. Otherwise, I retract a lot of my negative statements. It turned out to be better than I expected. There you go, folks.
And even that ending with Autobio, where she kind of accepts who she is. She's her mother, but with a conscience.
Yeah, which is good.
Which is what you need. You need someone to have that much strength and that much power in that situation who's like, yeah, all of this is bullshit. All of the stuff they tell you is a lie. Here's what happened.
Yeah,
and
it worked.
That was good. It was a good show. It was a good story.
It was a good show, good story.
I kind of want them to make Tango and Cash with Alan Rickman and John Cena. No Tango and Cash. No. With those two giant humans, they're both funny.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a whole. I see. Here's my problem. This worked for John Cena, but I don't. In Bumblebee, he's horrible. In other movies that I've seen him, he sucks. For some strange reason, I honestly think this is as close to who he is as you're possibly going to get, and it fits. It just really works. So it's just ridiculous enough and over the top that it's believable.
All right.
But I can't. No. And who's it gonna play? Sylvester Stallone? Can you see John Cena in a suit? No. And he sure as hell is not Cash. Oh, no.
Why not?
No.
Come on.
No.
I'd watch it.
Kurt Russell's character? Not a chance.
Oh no, you could make him. You could have Alan Rickman as Kurt Russell's character. That's believable. They'd be bigger too. They'd actually, be because Sylvester's not a big guy. Neither is Kurt Russell, to be honest.
Well, Sylvester was still bigger than Kurt Russell, though, wasn't he? Like brawnier?
Oh, he was bigger muscle wise, but they're both under 6 feet tall. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's true. Crazy thoughts that we have. You do have to stay for the post-credit scene because it totally pays off.
Oh,
Total
huge.
payoff.
Yeah, huge payoff.
No spoilers, but stay to the end, folks.
Yeah, they give you a good send off on the story, and it just makes me excited to see what they're going to do. Honestly, I can't wait for season 2. I know it's going to be a long time, but I can't wait for that. That's going to be amazing.
See what happens. What else you got?
Oh, let's see. We can. Oh, the Jurassic Park Dominion trailer came out. Which is this the end of Jurassic Park? Is this it?
This is it.
They're bringing everyone back. This has got to be the finale, right?
The big crescendo is about to hit. They're bringing everybody back. I'm excited, but I'm very pessimistic about this because I think we're about to have a Batman moment. There's just too many characters just crammed into this, and I don't know how this is going to work because it's too much. My mind is melting. I would just be fine with Sam Neill coming back. Even I know we're not going to get a whole lot of Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum and Laura Dern back with Sam. I know there's going to be
there's going to be something there,
like magic, like dino egg magic kind of magic going on, and then you got the Chris Pratt side of it and all of those characters that we've been kind of limping along with, and it just seems too much. In my opinion.
Yeah, I kind of understand that perspective. I'm hoping that they don't, like you say, Batman the shit out of it, basically. If they give them just enough story beats as they kind of progress, they can do something with it, hopefully. I don't know.
It might be too much. I mean, you're right. It could be right. And everyone's kind of teamed up with whoever, but I see kind of like a Godzilla and Kong moment where we're following two stories that converge in the middle, and then we get this big apex of predators, predadons, and velociraptors all.
And based on the trailer, we kind of know that we're gonna get that big convergence moment. They show us everyone together when their fuck up of dinosaur creation shows up.
Don't make any sudden moves, and it's great. It's cool to see them both. It's fine, but I think I don't know.
Part of me, it's not impossible to land it. If they treat it, I'd say similar to how they did with Ghostbusters Afterlife, where you get enough of what happened before to kind of give you that nostalgic feeling, to give you that stuff, but they don't overwhelm you with it. They give you new and old at the same time in the right amounts. Well, they could potentially do something here.
Is Spielberg still running the show on this?
I don't remember. Who is the director on this one?
I don't know.
Let me check.
Because I want to see this end strong. I want to see this go out in a blaze of glory. I want this, like Butch and Sundance style, where you're just left like, goddamn. But
it is Colin Trevorrow who did Jurassic World.
Okay. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was decent.
And it is executive producer Steven Spielberg, so he is connected to it.
So he's still in. There's good chances that it won't go horribly for him, but I'm fingers crossed. That's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah,
but I'm excited to see everybody back together.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. It's sorry. Ooh. it is kind of a fingers crossed at this point to see, like, just don't fuck it up. You know,
Yeah.
you can tell an interesting story. You don't have to cram everything in here. Just, give us a little bit of the nostalgia, and then, it's Chris Pratt's movie. Let him dictate the pace to a certain extent. I mean, that's what it is. It's
It is.
it's his movie with dinosaurs in the background.
Well, we'll see. Star-Lord meets dinos in space. We'll see what happens.
God, that does have that weird feeling to it, doesn't it?
Yep. What were some of the other trailers that we saw for the Super Bowl that landed? The big one was the Fellowship Lord Ring Dynasty.
Yeah, the Rings of Power, a Lord of the Rings story.
1,000 years before the Hobbit, and we're going to fill in some holes that J.R.R. Tolkien has left behind, and things will never be the same again. I'm excited to see this, but at the same point, I'm a little pissed off at the just I'm pissed at Netflix is what I am. I'm really pissed at Netflix on this because they're a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah.
They cited Jupiter's Legacy, which I thought was one of the best series that they had put together, as a budget issue as far as why they weren't doing season 2.
Mm-hmm.
That shield maiden or female paladin or whatever character it may be, there's
Yeah.
at least 10 grand worth of armor on that chick
Oh,
alone.
yeah.
So you're going to tell me that Jupiter's Legacy, which probably was maybe, let's be generous, $100 worth of costuming for Jupiter's Legacy versus a
slightly more than that,
$10,000
but
suit.
yes. Well, and yeah, CGI alone, like you can tell just from the trailer, like they spent millions of dollars on just the CGI.
There's some bucks being popped at this,
Yeah.
and as excited as I am, and I'm very excited to see some Elrond, Elrond, who should
Mm-hmm.
be a kid at this point, because I mean he looks elder when we
Oh
see
yeah,
him. The
because
problem is we don't
this
know
is
where he is in age.
yeah, we don't know, like, because they don't actually give away a lot of plot details on what's
I honestly was
happening.
surprised to see this trailer. I honestly thought we were not going to see anything until like the week of. So to
Mm-hmm.
see this break where it did was kind of like, okay, so they're bringing the sauce.
Well, and it's interesting because this is supposed to be set thousands of years before even The Hobbit takes
Yeah,
place.
1,000 years roughly before the Hobbit.
Yeah. Like this is the very like the way they're kind of explaining is this is like the first time like the hero legends show up essentially.
Yes. So all the ruins, which is kind of funny when you think about the Hobbit, because
Mm.
the Hobbit should be already old, but they're running around in ruins of previous civilizations.
Yeah. Like
Holy shit, these guys fucked up bad if they're already in ruin.
yeah, like what's happening exactly? Because that's an extensive amount of time prior to the Hobbit to
It
have
is.
all of this still being a thing essentially.
So it's the Second Age, and Tolkien kind of hinted at it in the books, and there's other stories that kind of float around this era, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited to see what they do. The Age of Man hasn't really like come into its own yet. They're still kind of, I don't want to say cave-like, but they're not very civilized for all intents and purposes.
Not really. Yeah, it's very. I don't want to say Stone Age, but they are kind of presenting it that way, where it's very, very early in this culture kind of.
So I just want them to expand on this, kind of like we've seen Fantastic Beasts with Harry Potter. I
Mhm.
would. I want to see this world expanded. I want to see more dwarves. I want to see more enchanted creatures. I'm just going to be pissed if we just get a few dwarves and a lot more humans and elves. Okay, we've kind of seen that. Give me something. Give me some trolls. Give me some ogres. Give me something.
Yeah,
Give
some
me a griffin.
dragons.
Give me some dragons.
Yeah,
Give me
like
some.
there's a lot you can do with this, and as someone who obviously everyone knows, I don't exactly enjoy the Lord of the Rings trilogy the way most people do.
Right.
This did get my interest, where I'm like, okay, maybe if they do less walking and more story, then hey, sure, I'll give it a shot. Let's bump up the action. This is supposed to be like giant wars, and
hmm This
so.
looks like it could be like a D&D campaign you and I would run. This is something that I'm bought in on.
Hmm.
Just don't mm, just don't mismanage me or I'm going to be angry. Don't be a
Yeah.
bad DM. Don't be a bad DM.
Don't fuck it up, please. Yeah.
Don't fuck it up. But other than that, we really don't have anything to work on. That's the one small little trailer that had like everything else, like all of the
Mhm.
previous stuff, and like 10 seconds of new footage. And I was like, I thought it was like a fan made thing at first. I'm like, okay, how'd they pay for that? Oh, it is a real trailer. Okay, never mind. Did I hit the last channel button and flip back over to YouTube and not
I was
know
like,
it?
what was I watching? Yeah, what was
Yeah, I was like, oh shit.
but yeah, I mean, I I don't know what the general consensus is on this because I honestly haven't paid attention. Are the Lord of the Rings fans actually?
A lot of the Lord of the Ring fans that I've talked to have been very middle of the road, same as me. They're kind of like, okay, well, you have our attention.
Okay, they're not quite
Mm,
in the bag for it yet.
not in the bag for it yet. And then I've got people who have been watching all of the uh, Peter Dinklage stuff, Game of
Game of
Thrones,
Thrones.
and they're all like, you're gonna have to do better than Game of Thrones did. So let's see that. So I don't know. There could be some good stuff. There could be some bad stuff. But everyone is literally just waiting right now. You got their attention. Well done.
And when
And
is
that,
that? When's that show up? When is it coming out?
I don't remember.
I think it's like September or something like that. Yeah, September 2nd.
Yeah,
So
so
we got
not
a while.
bad. A little
Yeah,
bit. Yeah,
got roughly what is that? 7 months, just
yeah,
six
about that.
months, right around there. So, uh, I'm not gonna shit on it until I see it, and it makes me want to. So,
Yeah.
and then I get, I mean, if Lord of the Rings wasn't your big thing over the weekend, I'm guessing that uh, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness probably was, because they released a trailer for that also, and wow, they kicked the damn doors down on that one.
I'm waiting for the dust to settle because that was spectacular. It was so many things. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
people still dissecting that trailer. Like they're pulling up high res images of the broken glass to show Peggy Carter's shield.
Yep.
I mean, there's so many things in play here. The problem is, if the one thing Marvel has mastered, it's misdirection.
Oh yeah.
We kind of think. I mean, it feels pretty good inside of us that that's Patrick Stewart talking, and that we're going to see the Illuminati, which is Marvel's heavy hitters, all sporting Infinity Stones,
Mm-hmm.
which to Tank and I's speculation would be a big bad that we've been waiting for them to reveal, because Galactus, the Skrulls, the Beyonder, Secret Wars, all of it still seems kind of wishy-washy,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have Kang in the mix and all the multiverses and all of that. So this kind of plays right into that ballpark that we've been waiting to see what the big bad is going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Illuminati. Maybe it is Kang. Maybe it's the armies of the multiverse.
Well, and we are kind of at this point. I mean, they're really good at deceiving people, especially when it comes to just taking random images. They change images when they release trailers.
Oh yeah,
Like, remember when they pulled the Hulk out of Age of Ultron? Yeah, like
well, even the end of Infinity War, where they didn't have everybody walking towards
yeah.
the quantum field, so they didn't give away any of the story because Ant-Man was missing,
Oh yeah.
so was Rhodes, so was Hulk. I mean, so there were characters, even Iron Man, all pulled out digitally, not to give away, but still give us a trailer.
Well, and I think that's what they did. If I'm going to be honest, when they walk into that big open room with the chairs, I think there's people in those chairs. I think
I think so
they're
too.
I think those the what was there, like 3 seats that were not filled out of the
Yes.
6. I'm pretty sure those are actually there. They didn't want to give away anybody else at this
Because
point.
we've got the Illuminati is what? Franklin or is Reed Richards,
Yep.
Tony Stark, Professor X, Doctor
Black Bolt
Strange, Black Bolt, and Namor.
And at one point supposed to be Black Panther, but he says no.
Right. And then that's when Namor comes in and there's the whole rift that happens in Wakanda being wiped out.
Yeah.
And the war starts out of that. And Cap was originally one of the founders, but he didn't like what they did, so they mind wiped him and kicked his ass out.
Yeah, and this they're going with. It seems like they're going more with the multiversal Illuminati, which we got for a brief time during the the 2014 Infinity line, when they were dealing with the Black Order and the recursions and all that stuff.
Right. You had all of the multiverses crashing into each other, and you had a countdown, and our Infinity Stones were gone. They're broken. They don't work. So we're pulling Infinity Stones from other dimensions, and it gets very convoluted. It gets very confusing at this point. Even for like you and I reading the fucking stories, I'm still kind of like, those convergences just were. And I know Bendis did his best, but it's rough.
I'm hoping it doesn't get quite that convoluted. It's going to get a little bit convoluted no matter what, because by my count, there's like 5 different Doctor Stranges in this movie. So there's going to be some wild shit happening, but
I'm fine with. I mean, I know we're going to see a resurgence of the Doctor Strange from What If, which
both of them.
To be
2
great.
of them.
Yeah,
we're getting a zombie Strange and we're getting a Dark Strange. It looks like, and a Defenders Strange, the multiversal Defenders Strange, and it's like, oh, okay, well, we're going full board into this. All right. So why, and then we get which is basically confirmed at this point. It is. I don't know if he actually confirmed it because he did an interview, but I don't know if he confirmed it. But it's Patrick Stewart as a version of Professor X. Talking
you don't know
yet. Yeah. And honestly, like, they could do a lot with that. They may have killed off, they killed him off in Logan. That was supposed to be that version of Professor X from the X-Men, the Fox X-Men storyline.
Yeah, but I mean, they essentially killed off, because that was so far in the future. All the other X-Men were dead. It kind of pulled like an old man Logan without the whole, villains winning type of thing, and Professor X was the one that wiped him out because of his powers. So okay, that's great. And I know Hugh Jackman. Everyone's tapping on Hugh Jackman because this is what he wanted. He wanted to be Wolverine in the Marvel U with Cap and all of them. So we very well see that.
He also said, like, as part of that whole line, and that's why I don't think it's going to be that version of Professor X, because they've both talked about it at different points, both Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, saying that guy's dead. He doesn't get to come back. So I'm thinking this version of Professor X might be based on what Disney has done and what they're currently putting in the pipeline with the X-Men 97 series and everything like that, I think it's the real life version of that Professor X, which would,
I,
you know,
I hope so.
that'd be an
But
interesting way to do that, is to have, here's your real life version and here's the story that's coming after that with
and
the X-Men 97.
it'll be interesting to see, because I know everyone is saying Iron Man is Tom Cruise, and God, I hope not. But there's another rumor that's kind of surfaced out of this,
Mm-hmm.
and that it could be Iron Lad, which has definitely come out of Loki and Wanda Vision, and there's so many different ties linking to Iron Lad versus Iron Man that I think everyone's kind of being very short-sighted in this and not
Yeah.
expecting the rub that Marvel usually gives us.
See, and that's the thing. Like when people have been speculating that it's Tom Cruise, I'm like, yes, at one point in time, it was apparently going to be Tom Cruise, but that doesn't mean that they're immediately going to do that. I'm much more like thinking what you're saying right there. I very much think that that machined up dude that they show in the trailer is not a alternate Iron Man. It is an alternate Nathaniel Richards as Iron Lad.
Mm-hmm. And it
That's
would
what I
go
think it is.
plays
Yeah.
into the Kang storyline. It plays into a lot of stuff, and it
No.
brings in High Evolutionary. It brings in, and we've already heard rumors that Quicksilver's character from the X universe is coming back. I can't
Yeah,
think of
that
his
they're
name.
actually bringing Evan Peters in to be
Yes,
Quicksilver,
yeah. So
not just Ralph Boner.
no. So
Yeah.
there's so many cool elements about this, and I'm really excited to see it. And I think Cumberbatch is absolutely spectacular as Strange. He
Yeah.
plays such he plays such a diverse range of characters that I think this is going to be. He's just going to have fun with this. Even the trailer looks like he was having fun. Like
Oh
it,
yeah.
it went really wrong.
Well, yeah. And they're doing and like everything that they're doing with this movie based on the trailer at this point, which we can kind of trust, but we'll see. It does everything that is possibly being told leads directly into what's going to be told next. We're
Mhm.
going to get the Secret Wars, which we know is going to happen. We're getting Quantum Mania. We're getting another X-Men at some point. They've already told us that a Fantastic Four is coming. There's a lot of things that they can easily transition to from this movie.
Well, and I don't think those are Ultron drones. I'm going to say those are guardsmen to go
That's what I
with
think too. Everyone
with
kept saying
Secret
Ultron jump
Wars.
drones, and I'm like,
I think it's guardsmen.
yeah,
I mean, it's a throwaway too from the '80s, because
yeah,
they took care of the prison, and they were designed by Tony Stark, and it just seems to fit. So I think they're Guardians. I don't think they're Ultron drones.
yeah. That would make, and I think that makes a lot more sense. I don't think this is going to be the superior Iron Man, like everyone seems to be hinting at. They're waiting for that.
Well, they
That's gonna,
wouldn't waste it.
yeah. If we see that at some point, it is not happening yet because they're not gonna. If they try and throw away Doctor Doom, that would be the revolt that they don't want, because
Hmm.
that is the big one of the big villains that has not showed up that everyone loves. So they can't throw away Doctor Doom like that.
No, I mean, he shows up in this week's Iron Man comic. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good read.
Yeah.
But you can't just do you can't, and that's the thing, you can't kill Doom. You just
No.
can't bring him in just to kill him off. So there's more story there. That's the problem with Secret Wars, is that they've killed off the villains that would or could have a huge impact on Secret Wars.
Some of them, yeah.
Hmm.
But they've also, with this multiverse thing, like they can basically do whatever they want to retcon previous things to a certain extent and switch up the characters a little bit and say, oh, well, yeah, in that universe, they are dead. But in this universe, they're still alive and they had this impact, you
The
know?
problem the problem is, with doing that, you're going to lose the casual fan. The casual viewer is gonna get lost in this. They have to keep it simple, stupid, and I
Well,
I I object to this. I think I
I
don't know.
mean, they did it with
Maybe I'm wrong.
Spider-Man. They did it with Spider-Man already. I mean, that's what that story was. Is
It was, but
these guys don't even exist in this universe.
that's true. But
Yeah.
they at least took the time to explain it. I don't see how you're going to explain it and set everything up like they did in Spidey, because we already knew the other Spideys existed. Now you're going to start pulling characters that we don't even know or have stories or any link to into a story. They're like, well, who's this guy now? So you're
Well,
going to lose that casual fan. You're going to go too far in the weeds, and it's going to bite them.
well, I'm not saying completely reintroduce things. I'm saying you could connect it a little bit. I'm saying, yeah, Red Skull disappeared into the soul, whatever,
Soulstone, right?
Soul Stone planet, whatever, but there is another version of Red Skull. That guy exists, and it's not going to be Hugo Weaving this time. It's going to be somebody else that they can keep attached. Well, Hugo doesn't want to do it anymore. That's why that happened. So you can do something else, or you could, just put somebody else there and put the image in there. I mean, they've done it with, Luke Skywalker for 2 years now in the Star Wars universe. So you
And
can,
Carrie Fisher. Can't leave Carrie Fisher out of
and
that.
Carrie Fisher, yeah.
And Grand Moff Tarkin.
And
Tarkin's
yeah,
there too.
exactly. Like, it's very doable to say, like, oh yeah, this person still exists. It's just a different version of this person.
We'll see. I'm excited. We don't have long to wait, don't we? Mouth of Madness will be. We know it.
May, right?
Yeah.
Not far off.
Yeah.
And God, I mean, they can do so much stuff. I mean, this does look like it's going to be the official introduction of mutants, though, into the MCU in some form.
Yep.
And there's 2 Scarlet Witches, so we know, we don't know what that means. But they've kind of made her look like she's going to be at least kind of a villain in this.
Mm-hmm.
Who had something to do with this multiversal destruction taking place.
Uh-huh. So we'll see which one wins. Villain,
Yeah, exactly.
or hero.
I don't know. Was there anything? I don't remember anything else big coming up this last week.
No, that was kind of it. I mean, it's been a quiet weekend. I know we had what? We didn't really have a lot this weekend. The Olympics ended. I think that kind of filled up a lot of time and space and everything in between. So it's been kind
I'm
of
going to
a
go
bit
ahead and say I didn't watch much of the Olympics, to be honest.
No, I watched the first couple events. It was badly edited. I didn't like the announcers. I don't like what's his name commentating.
Mm-hmm.
I was nope. I'm out.
I do want to take a quick step back to Peacemaker.
Yeah.
With that final scene when after the fight with the cow.
Mm-hmm.
When the backup finally shows up, might be legitimately one of the funniest scenes that DC has ever put anywhere. Just that was beautiful.
I'm waiting for the memes to come out of this. None have yet.
No,
and I'm really waiting on it because
apparently Stephen Amell was greatly offended.
Why was Stephen Amell offended? Because he wasn't involved?
Well, because the Arrow thing.
Oh, seriously?
took a shot at the Green Arrow. That was
there hasn't been a single safe character in this entire series, and he's getting pissed. They called Aquaman a fish fucker. I mean,
more than once.
Repeatedly
called Aquaman a fish fucker.
Well, it's true. You fuck fish.
And they called Batman a pussy.
Yeah, they called Batman a pussy. I mean, they bagged on Superman. I think the only one they didn't take a pot shot at was Wonder Woman, and rightfully so, because they didn't want to cause any waves.
Well, and he also they kind of inferred that she was kind of cool.
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, she's cool. Yeah. So I just
But I will say that when you get to the end of that, it's a very funny moment that occurs after they kill the cow. We were kind of like, "Oh, you guys are dicks," but this is great.
so good, so good.
But yes,
Oh boy,
I wanted to mention that because it made me laugh because I was sitting there thinking about, I'm like, "Oh God, that was pretty good." How they
it was,
lined that whole thing up with Waller and
no,
having
they tied it
backup.
up in a nice, pretty little bow. They made it.
Yeah.
They made it palatable.
I guess that's it for tonight. I can't think of anything else big that happened. I mean,
I guess that is it. So
yeah,
send us your mail. Give us some questions. We're all for it. Even bills you don't want to pay, we won't pay them. But you can just
tell
play
us about it.
stupid. We'll just
Yeah.
throw them away. It'll be fine. It's just like you did it, but we'll do it
If
for
you
you.
guys have anything you want us to talk about during the, our weekly whatever, send us a message.
I
We'll
would
watch,
love
read,
a
whatever.
mail section. I would
Oh
love
yeah.
ask the nerds. Just
Hmm.
ask the nerds. We don't care what you ask us. We'll answer it.
We'll find an answer.
We will
It may
find
be
an answer.
outrageous, but we will find an answer.
That's right. And in that bombshell, we shall say goodnight. Give us a like, give us a share. Let everyone know about the nerds that know. In the meantime, run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night.